Music takes place in the dimension of time, so we need to be able to define not only the pitch, but also the duration of each note. For this purpose, we use different note symbols that indicate their length. This is a whole note. It can be split into 2 half notes, 4 quarter notes, 8 eighth notes, 16 sixteenth notes, and so on. Now, this system tells us the length of each note in relation to the other notes, but it doesn't actually give us an actual time for any of them. The reason is that their duration depends on the speed, the so-called tempo of a piece of music. Sometimes sheet music will include a precise tempo, such as quarter note equals 60 beats per minute. So in this case, each quarter note would be 1 second long. In a different piece, quarter notes might be defined as 120 beats per minute, so you would need to play them twice as fast. In classical music, tempo is usually indicated by Italian terms, such as adagio, moderato, or allegro, which tells you more about how the piece should feel instead of a precise number of beats per minute. Now, in music notation, it's not only the individual note that has a certain length. Every piece of music is divided into bars, separated by bar lines. These bars, or measures, are equal segments of time that help us understand the rhythmic structure of a piece of music. Let's take a typical waltz rhythm as an example. It's very easy to hear that there's a repeating pattern of 3 beats. So it makes a lot of sense to organize this piece of music into bars of that length. At the beginning of every piece, there's a time signature, which tells you about its rhythmic structure. The top number gives us the number of beats in each bar, and the bottom number tells us which note length corresponds to 1 beat. So in this case, the time signature informs us that each bar has a length of 3 quarter notes. The most common time signature, which is used for the vast majority of popular music, is 4/4, meaning each bar has 4 beats, and each beat is a quarter note. In fact, 4/4 is so common that it is often replaced by the C symbol, which stands for common time. Now, although music is generally perceived to be more about emotions than numbers, the length of each bar is strictly defined. If our time signature tells us that there are 4 quarters in each bar, that has to be fulfilled. The only exception is that at the very beginning of a piece, there can be an incomplete bar, such as a single note before the first bar line. But after that, each bar has to contain the exact amount of beats that are indicated in the time signature. Nothing more, nothing less. So, in the 4/4 time signature, we could fill a bar with 4 quarters, or 2 half notes, or 2 quarters and a half note, or 1 whole note. However, in a 3/4 time signature, there can never be a whole note in a bar, because it's too long. On the other hand, if we put only a half note in a bar, it's incomplete. There's a quarter note missing. Of course, sometimes we want a break within a melody, or a moment of silence between chords. That's why each note has a corresponding rest, which indicates silence for that same duration. So, in our example, instead of adding a quarter note after our half note, we could also add a quarter rest to complete the bar. So, let's put this into practice and play a short segment together.